the judiciary in a reactive or proactive stage?
No, at this stage, we are presented with a tight situation because, in my opinion, the proper court that has jurisdiction over that issue is the Oyo High Court. Because there is no act of any federal government agency or the federal government in issue that will give jurisdiction to the Federal High Court. And there is no candidate brought the issue challenging the conduct. You see, in law, we don't waste words. So the only thing you can challenge is the conduct, which means that it must have happened before you can go to court. You cannot be preemptive. What you are entitled to challenge, if you read section 8414, is the conduct. Outside that, nothing concerns any court with internal affairs of a political. So now, we expect, as I'm hearing, that petitions have gone to NJC, and so we are watching.
Now, help us understand. Somebody says a certain conduct of their political party it's not in line with their laws, and they feel aggrieved. I'm talking about the Abdurrahman, the Wiki faction. They feel aggrieved with certain things happening.
They will leave the party. You see, the constitution of a party is not binding on the party.
I don't understand. Constitution of the party.
It's not.
Not binding on the party.
It's not binding on the party. It's only binding on the individuals, the individual members. You don't understand it?
Throw light on it.
Yes. No. You see, the constitution of a party sitting as a voluntary organization can say, we don't want to use this our constitution today. The constitution of a party is not an organic instrument. It is not the constitution that gives the party life. It is the party that gives the constitution life. It's like Nigeria. Nigeria's constitution is organic. That is what gives life to Nigeria. That is why anything the constitution says we must do. You remember in 2011, when they were doing Jonathan's convention, it was suspected. They said the court in Enugu had suspended the then national chairman, Okwi. Okwi came to conduct the convention to ratify Grulok as, and they said no, you are suspended by order of a court. He said no, I have set aside the order. The convention said we don't want to take any risk. They say constitution or no constitution, you stay. Haliru, national vice chairman, deputy national chairman, not come and conduct the convention. Under the constitution, it's only the national chairman that can conduct the convention. But the party that owns the constitution and made the constitution and decides when to use the constitution or not said, we don't want our national chairman to preside today. And they held the convention. Jonathan emerged and became president for 4 years. So you cannot, even when a vote, you see, there's something we call ultra-virus. No voluntary organization can act ultra-virus itself. Its highest control is itself. Whatever it says together is binding. That is why, but an individual who wants to take benefits of being a member of that organization must act pursuant to the constitution. But the organization itself, when it wants to act, it may act according to the constitution. But when it is not expedient, it can elect another expedient and say, we don't want this, this is what we want. And it becomes.
All right. Mr. Maduabuchi, in the case that consensus collapses, should Nigerians brace up for a parallel convention? And what domino effect could competing conventions have on the party's 2027 electoral prospects?
You cannot have two conventions.
to have no convention at all?
No, there must be a convention. I had earlier said so. INEC is an organization of records. Somebody inform them when they are going to hold their convention, isn't it? The date, and that is pursuant to Section 82. You get in 21 days notice, we are going to hold conventions to elect new officers. Outside of that convention, there can be no other convention. I know Joash Amupito. When he came to just about 1892, I was about 10 years or 12 years as a lawyer. So I know him very, very well. I saw him rise before he became professor and essay. I know him very well. He's not the kind of person you will not muck around with. He does not talk much, but he's a very resolute person.
Okay. Is it possible that this matter be escalated to the Supreme Court? Now, you said outside jurisdiction, a state high court can overrule
on jurisdiction.
On jurisdiction matter.
Yes.
Now,
outside
is it possible if these aggrieved individuals now decide to go to appeal at the appellate court and escalate to the Supreme Court? Do they still have a window?
Of course, no, of course.
So yes. The convention can be derailed if the Court of Appeal decide that no, it should not.
If the Court of Appeal says don't hold the convention, maybe today is Wednesday. If they say so on Thursday, you stop. But until they say so, the court that has territorial jurisdiction in Oyo is the Oyo High Court. The subject matter is within its purview. It is not within the purview of the Federal High Court. So I will obey the court that is correct. I will not obey the court that is wrong.
So you can choose which courts to obey.
No, but in the face of I as a lawyer, and if I'm advising, I advise you obey this one. This one is wrong. What brings federal government into this thing that gives jurisdiction to the federal? Nothing. You bring INEC. The Supreme Court has said it on a number of occasions. When we are doing political matters, I don't know why at times he has said you don't join INEC just because you want to go to Federal High Court. Why we run away from State High Court is because the governors control the judges. So you go to Federal High Court where at least you expect some little bit of balance, right? So, but otherwise, ordinarily, and the Supreme Court deprecated it in a number of occasions. Don't bring this INEC into issues that have. What is the act of INEC that you are complaining about? What has INEC done that you should drag it to court? For you to have a right of action against somebody, you must have a cause of action against him. And the cause of action is cause of complaint. What is your complaint? What did he do that that you are taking him to court for? If there is nothing, then why is INEC in court? And if INEC is not in court, then how can Federal High Court have jurisdiction?
So, for instance, if INEC recognizes the Damagun faction, it will affect their own interests. So,
affect Damagun. And of course, now they have always recognized Damagun.
So I'm saying the ground they went to the Federal High Court that if INEC goes ahead to recognize Damagun, it will affect. So
INEC has not recognized Damagun. INEC has to recognize Damagun. Before you now say, INEC, it is wrong of you to have recognized Damagun because of suicides.
All right, so from your own perspective, San, from your own perspective,
yes, my dear,
is Nigeria's democracy at risk when internal party crisis is decided in courtrooms rather than on the ballot?
You see, that is why I respect the Supreme Court. It has hammered it time and time and time again. Courts don't run political parties. Allow them make their mistakes. But they will get it right. Everybody is commending INEC in Anambra. But you know, it was the same Anambra that we had when a returning officer said we were asked to return PDP, that they will give us a list of candidates later. The same Anambra, that they were asked to return PDP in all the elections, then they will be given the candidates later. This is now the Anambra which we are saying is now the beacon. The election was properly conducted, the wish of the people prevailed, and I'm not hearing anybody talking of going to the tribunal. And I'm not happy about that because it means I won't make some money.
So you're not concerned that this may be the new normal?
No, well, if it becomes the new normal, we also have to find a new normal. Those of us who do political matters. If the politicians learn their lessons, we also, I'm an Igbo man, they say when the bird learns to fly without person, you learn to shoot without listening.
Okay, let's look at learning to shoot in another way. Talking about Labour Party, since you talk about constitutional matters, Supreme Court gave a ruling, and why is it that even in Labour Party, the issue about leadership and faction is still there, despite the ruling of the Supreme Court?
That is because the politicians are recalcitrant people. They are. They are. And the Labour, sorry to say, Labour is just suffering from the withdrawal of P2B from the party. Labour is P2B. Before P2B, there was no Labour. Right or wrong? Since P2B left, they have not, you don't hear Labour again. In Anambra, they were fought. When my president was their candidate in Edo State, I think he was third or fourth. They have not even won a councillor seat. So when the two people are posturing themselves, Abure says I'm the leader, the other guy says I'm the leader. So the people ignore them. You can't do that with PDP. You can't even do that with ADC now, because ADC has come up, and as PDP is going down, ADC is coming up. Even though I don't see how you can cobble that thing together and it comes to challenge.
Well,
it's not possible.
Quite interesting times ahead of 2027. Yes, I must say we look forward to that. But we must say thank you so much for your time with us on the program, Mr. Oba Maduabuchi. It's a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
Thank you very, very much. It's always